Okay, so Kenny Pickett does have pretty small hands. Okay.
What was mine at?
That's 8.5.
Oh, so he has my sized hands.
Yeah, so
That's
that's
interesting.
Pretty, here, measure
Let me
mine.
do you, man.
No, you gotta put it at the 0. Don't cheat me out of it. Half an inch.
Yeah, you're like, 8.2 or something.
No, that's disrespectful. I feel like I give you more grace. I feel
Okay,
like
8.5 too. So we have.
Oh yeah, either way.
Yeah. So
Okay, so that actually is. I thought I was gonna measure our hands and they were gonna be like
7.
And I was gonna... What is up, everybody? Welcome back to the Harvester Sports Podcast. This is episode 27.
Yep.
I'm Noah.
I'm Austin. Tyler's not here. That's all right.
Tyler's missing.
Yeah. It's gonna be.
Hey,
speak, man.
fill those comments. Pressing tie.
Yeah,
I
pressing.
want every comment to be pressing tie.
I saw some of you. I saw some of you press him in the comments.
Yeah,
that was the funniest thing I've ever seen, dude.
He deserves it.
But he tells me he's like, when are you gonna let me on? I was like, dude, just come whenever. And he's like, all right, yeah, sure. And I'm like, you coming? He's like, no, not this week. I'm like, oh, thanks, man. That's clean. But he got the car that he has right now specifically to be able to come here.
Yeah, it's wild, isn't it? that JUCO football's hitting different.
That JUCO money.
It's a grind.
We got to go to one of his games. He's got some. It's gonna be the most fun thing ever. Can you imagine little Tyler just cheesing down there?
Go Gades.
Go Gades.
I think that's a clean mascot, Renegades.
Renegades is really cool.
Like the TikTok dance. Renegade.
When I was there, they made us do they did the chief thing, right? We go like this, but instead we had swords and we went, yeah, like this. It was kind of clean. I'm not gonna lie. I was cheesing like biggest smile on my face.
The Braves have the tomahawk chop. They have an axe going like this.
There's one thing about like JUCO and stuff though I noticed like when I went and watched. Like Tyler's really good. He just needs to get a little bigger. But like when you go, my bad, flamed. My bad.
Dang, he's not even here to defend himself. He's so big or so small. He's not even here.
He's so small he can't get in here. His puny hands like Sam Howell.
But Sam Howell doesn't have puny hands.
Oh, sorry, Kenny Pickett. My bad.
Don't disrespect so Sam Howell. Sam Howell's got the most perfect size hands in the world. He's perfect.
But like something I noticed like when I would go to those games like JUCO games, I'm like, there's like it's a big difference between going to those games and going to like a Fresno State game. Like you can tell the skill gap is very.
You mean there's a difference between JUCO and D1? That's a very not controversial take.
Like we were there and my dad was just sitting back. He's going.
Well, have you seen the video of Jared Goff going undercover
with the wig and stuff
at Ventura College, where they say, all right, we got a new a transfer that's looking at going out for the football team, and it's just Jared Goff in disguise with like makeup.
I feel like
and stuff
I'd be able to tell. It was just like the hair.
It's so funny watching like all the receivers were like, we're gonna win it all this year.
This is so great.
And then the quarterbacks they were like, dang, I don't know if I'm gonna be able to start over this man. Like, yeah, you might take my job.
Because if you think about it, it is like, especially in JUCO, it's like it's just a fight, right, to get that playing time because you're trying to move on to the next level, right? So it's all who's going to be there. There's probably like 4 quarterbacks on the roster. Everyone's fighting week to week.
Yeah.
I don't know why we're talking about JUCO.
Ty's not going to win.
Ty would not win quarterback. That's true, but he's playing different positions.
He's not winning any position.
Oh.
We just keep flaming him about everything till he
and
comes
then he'll come
on to
back.
defend himself. Yeah.
He's got skinny ankles. You know that?
He'll get. Is that a real
really
thing?
sensitive for that. If you tell me he has skinny ankles, yeah.
It's better than having cankles.
That is really true.
Maybe not for football.
But
I don't know.
Well, if you have big ankles, probably all the you won't never tear. You won't tear anything.
Yeah, you got padding.
Yeah, it's like when
it's like you're already wearing like tape. Over your
that's true.
That's just your ankle.
He's like, oh man, that dude's wrapped up. You just pull out just your fat. Just
I'm like, no, that's just my
that's
skin.
Just me, bro.
Just loose skin.
That's just my birth, man. But so the combine was a couple days ago. It was really cool to see guys like Jordan Davis, Sauce Gardner. But Jordan Davis totally screwed over my my Raider mock draft. So my Raider mock draft, you guys check out TikTok, Twitter. That's where I put them. I'm answering guys' comments. I'll do whatever team you want. Whatever team you come, I'll do. But I had round 1 pick 22. I had Jordan Davis. Round 2 pick 53. I had Nicholas Petit-Frere from Ohio State, offensive tackle. Round 3, I had Calvin Austin III. Right, just a fast boy. His Raiders need that fast boy. But the man Jordan Davis ran a 4.7 at 340 pounds, 6'6".
Yeah, no, I think he's for sure not falling that far.
Yeah, no.
But I think the Raiders probably used their first pick on OT anyways.
I think so. Yeah.
I mean, depending on who's available, you never really know what's going to happen when you're drafting that late in the draft.
Yeah.
Which the Raiders aren't used to.
Yeah, we're not. Yeah, that's true. Everyone's cheesing that we're pick 22 right now. But that was one of the things when I was doing the mock draft. I was like, when I was in it, I was okay. When I was like thinking about this, not really good because I use the draft network and that thing's really good for like doing mocks and stuff. If you guys know, but like I was like, there's no good offensive tackles right here. There's no star. I'm just gonna take the best guy available. But now it's like there's no shot he's gonna fall there. One of the teams has like 3 picks. Like the Eagles are for sure gonna take him like sooner.
Yeah, they should just draft that one punter that's supposed to be the best player.
Yeah, apparently that's the best player ever, and people want teams to draft a punter in the second round
because the punter can run a 4.7.
Oh yeah, people like guys. He ran a 4.7. Like, oh, thank you. I can't wait to put him on a fade.
Yeah, I don't. I guess have punters. Why not have them run 40s? But like, if you're a scout, do you care what 40 your punter runs?
I mean, like he
ran a 4.7. Let's make him second round.
Yeah,
talent.
There's no disrespect towards punters. Like, yeah, that man punts far, but like, there's so many other positions you need that you can take in the second round. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're gonna reach that far.
What if instead you drafted somebody that made it so you don't have to punt as much?
Yeah, that's true.
Instead of drafting a punter in the second
round. You just draft one of these quarterbacks who are projected to go like the second or third round. Maybe you won't have to punt as much, you know?
But I think Ray Guy he was a first round pick.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think he was. But he's also first punter in the Hall of Fame, and that was a good pick.
Well, people are comparing him to Ray Guy.
Yeah. I mean, they both can kick balls far. So,
which is wild to me, because like comparing rookies to like already Hall of Famers is wild to me also. You know, like this guy is like the greatest punter to ever play the game.
No, well, it's funny when the combine comes and they always say like they pick for every player in the draft. They say like, all right, here's an NFL player to compare them to.
Yeah, uh-huh.
And some of them are either way too disrespectful or it's all right, the person we're comparing this guy to is Patrick Mahomes. Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah, like, he's the greatest of all time.
Or they compare you to just a straight up bust. And they're like,
yeah. Like I was like listening to guys like Daniel Jeremiah talk about like the dudes while they're running the combine. Like, oh, that was a great 40. He'll be a 7th round pick now. I'm like, dang, man. Like that's where he moved up. The NFL's just harsh, man. Like there's so many different positions, so many different like great players. You know, it's hard to even land a roster spot.
Yeah.
Facts.
That's why I'm not in the NFL.
Yeah. That's the only reason I'm not in the NFL is because it's hard to get a spot.
Oh.
You all right?
Sorry.
That secret sauce.
That secret, that unsponsored drink.
Why does it remind me of...
not that we're looking for sponsors.
Yeah, not that we're looking for sponsors. We're fine.
But if a beverage company of some sort wants us to have a can or a bottle of something sitting there.
You don't understand. I'll sell out so fast. We'll put stacks of whatever you want right here. I'll get a tattoo right here.
I was putting this on here and I couldn't find paper. So I used the inside of a Chipotle bag. I was like, this for sure, as I was putting it on, I was like, this looks like it's just like a paper bag over a beer can or something. I was like, this looks really...
Noah's gotten to the point where he has to get wasted for us to do the podcast.
The podcast is too stressful. I just need it.
He's like, come on, man. I just heard him cracking something open. That's what I thought was happening for a second. I was like, no way, this dude. He's such a savage.
Joe Rogan, I get it now.
Yeah. That's why Joe Rogan always talked about that he used to be just blacked out every time he would do his thing.
Or on DMT. We'll do a DMT episode.
We'll do a DMT episode.
That's going to be right before the NFL season starts. Doing DMT and predicting the record of every team. So the aliens will talk to you.
Yeah, it will just be us dead quiet sitting here and we thought we were talking the whole time just through our minds. Just dead silent, hour-long podcast.
I could have sworn we pressed record.
But yeah, I think I agree with you now because I think Jordan Davis is going to go to one of the guys that has like multiple first round picks who's just going to take best guy available. I think the Raiders, it's all going to depend on if we get one of these big wide receivers. I think depends on what our first round pick is.
Yeah, I think that's true of the entire across the NFL. I mean, I know that's true every year, but it feels like especially this year in some ways because there's so many quarterbacks that are free agents or potentially getting moved around that, I mean, make mock drafts, but also so much of it is so dependent on even just at the quarterback position. You've got Aaron Rodgers, Russell Wilson, Jimmy G. Like you have big name guys that you don't know where they're going to be. Yeah, so that makes a big difference and shifts a lot of stuff around. And obviously that's
for sure.
Wide receivers too. There's
a lot of guys. Chris Godwin, guys. Yeah, guys like Devontae, he's a big one.
Yeah, Brandon Cooks is
another good one. Mm-hmm. All those guys, like a lot of those guys we mentioned, especially in the quarterbacks, like more so Aaron Rodgers. You get him on your roster, that's a completely different football team now. Like that, he could take teams that have been fighting to like the next level. Like just imagine him on the Niners. Mm-hmm. I know It sounds like he wants a longer term deal though, huh? Like he's not looking just to go 1 year and hop out. Because I know he probably, if I'm Aaron, I just was at a team where like my team drafted Jordan Love. I wouldn't really want to go to another team where they have Trey, who like sat behind 1 year and he's still waiting. Yeah, I just think it's going to be a lot of it. All these mocks, like the most accurate mock you can do is going to be like a day before the draft. You know what I'm saying? Where like a lot of the stuff is set in stone, like who's going to be where. And even then, like people aren't going to get the full first round complete. Everything changes. Like last year, quarterbacks just flew off the board so fast. Like everyone's predictions just were gone after that. Mm-hmm. You can make an estimated, like a good guess, right? Like this team needs this. They're going to get this guy who would fit best. But it's never going to be exactly what we plan it to be.
Yeah, and I think there's certain positions. Quarterback is one where it's like you look at certain quarterbacks and you're like, this guy's second, third round talent.
Yeah.
But he could get drafted well before that just because the team needs
a
quarterback and they think he's the guy for their system.
Yeah.
Or he could not get drafted till way later on because people pick up free agents or think they have their guy or whatever. Unless it's Sam Howell, then he should get drafted number 1, probably number 2 overall, number 1 overall.
Yeah. But that's what I've heard, like with my dad, like when he tells me stuff and like we're talking about the draft and stuff. Like, he always asks me the question, how far are you willing to reach if you know it's the guy you want? You know what I'm saying? Like, if this guy's projected second round and you're picking middle of the first, are you willing to reach for that guy, to have that guy that you want, like, desperately want, and don't want to risk losing him later on? I think that's kind of what the Raiders did with Leatherwood in the first round last year. They're like, because all this stuff came out, like, they didn't know if he's going to be there, in the second round, so take the guy you want right now.
Yeah, I mean, ultimately, you never really know who's going to be there, but I don't know. Reaching is a tough thing. Sometimes there's an obvious right thing to do.
Yeah.
And sometimes you should just do that.
Yeah, sometimes.
You don't always need to have a hot take or reach. Yeah, exactly. What if we took this guy instead? Sometimes
sometimes it's like
the guy.
Maybe it's the guy everyone has said is a top 5 pick. Maybe he's a top 5 pick, right? Maybe every draft has said this guy's going to go top 10. Maybe we should take him number 6 overall.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, you can't guarantee that those guys aren't still going to be busts, but I mean, you can't guarantee that anybody's not.
Yeah, you can't guarantee anyone's gonna be bust. Yeah.
So just trade away all your picks and go for free agents or something.
Yeah, go
just
Rams.
Never draft a single player, or get the entire. I think a good draft strategy, in my opinion, is just trade away until you get 1 year. You have the entire 7th round.
Yeah, and you go nuts.
And maybe more like 6th round or something.
Yeah.
Because you can find some sleepers in there.
Oh, you can find some dudes hidden.
And if you're drafting all of them, then you just, by the time you need to make the 53-man roster cut, then you find out who you want and you cut all the rest.
Sometimes
some of those have to hit.
Yeah, I get like that you have to fill, like this is going to sound dumb, I know. But I get you have to fill certain spots, right? Like in the later rounds, right? To get depth and stuff like that. But some part of me is like, if you're a team and you need a corner and you have like, say like the picks 4 through the 7th round left, go corner. One of them's got to land, right? Like one of them has to be good enough to start on your football team.
Yes, if you're just a random guy, but if you're somebody who is professionally an NFL scout or a GM, the assumption is that you are able to
find that guy in that one round.
And if you're drafting 4 corners, then that conveys that you have zero faith in your own ability to find out who a good player is.
Because you're just stressing, you're like, okay, we got to hit the corner.
What are the odds of all 4 of them being bust? It's pretty low. I don't know. Let's just draft them all.
We're like, all the corners are so good this year. Just please.
That's explaining it to the media. You're like, there were just so many good corners. We just had to take them all.
I mean, what you don't want me to take the best football player available? What am I saying? Every time it came to our pick, the best player available was a corner. What can I say? Like, that's just what I have to do. But yeah, so the combine just happened. We're getting more details like how fast they are, all this stuff. And now today it was the start of like being able to franchise tag players. So the Chiefs got Orlando Brown, Browns got Njoku, Bengals got Jesse Bates. All these guys probably going to get bigger deals, right? It's probably why you franchise tag a guy to extend a bigger deal. The exciting one to me, Devontae not franchise tagged yet. I know it's day 1. That's still one that I'm interested in. Him and Chris Godwin, who are likely to be franchise tagged, maybe a tag and a trade away. Still nothing happened yet. I think the Packers were still waiting on what's Aaron doing. I think those two are very connected.
Yeah, if you're an NFL player, how would you feel about getting franchise tagged? I mean, I know it depends on situations a lot, but I know there's some guys that have in the past said like they really don't like the idea of the franchise tag.
Yeah.
They're like, just sign me to a deal. Like, show that you have faith or you trust me.
That's why we talk about that's why J.C. Jackson's so mad, because he played so well for the Patriots, and like he said, like he's come out publicly and like they aren't, like, they're not willing to
try to negotiate for a long-term deal.
Why don't you want to sign me? And it's kind of
it's different every situation, because like Devontae, obviously the Packers probably aren't like, oh, we don't trust this guy, let's just tag him because we don't want to give him a full contract. It's more about the money in a lot of situations.
And we know how teams usually are. Like the Patriots, right, in their system, it's like, if you are demanding a lot of money, we'll just find some guy that can do your job, right? Like, would hurt my feelings if I'm J.C. Jackson, right? Like, if I'm like, oh, you're just going to move on from me? I played so well for you. Especially if, like, I want to play for your team. You know what I'm saying? Like, if I'm like, I really want to play for your team, why aren't you having that communication with me? That's like what we saw on a different podcast, I'm not going to name, is no free shout-outs. Like, KJ Wright, right? Was he was saying, like, he accepted the Raiders' offer because the Seahawks, like, wouldn't match it. And he's like, I really want to stay for you. I'll take, like, a smaller contract. If you guys offer me, they didn't. And he was like, well... like, that's awful.
Yeah, I mean,
I get it's a business, though. You know, I get that part of it.
Yeah, but that's true of really every free agent in every sport. Is that, I mean, even Alex Caruso when he was on the Lakers, he said the Bulls offered him, and he took that same offer, showed it to the Lakers, was like, all right, what can you do? And they're like, we can't do that. Yeah. And so he went elsewhere. But
yeah, I mean, it's just hard. I know it's a business, right? And teams have to be smart about where they sign, right? And guys they sign. But it's harder for the players because they've developed, right? The kids have grown up there. Kids gone to school there, right? Especially a guy like KJ Wright, who's been there his entire career. You know, it's hard to be like, I got to pack up and move everything now. That's like kind of how it was like with my family. I was in Houston. I was like, we're moving. I was like, oh, that sucks. Like, why can't we just stay in one spot? You know, it's just rough, man.
Yeah,
it's rough being in the NFL, man. It's just hard.
That's a tough life.
Yeah,
playing football professionally, very tough.
I used to hit friends with like controversial statements, and I wouldn't tell them I was leaving, and I would just go back to California.
I don't know what that means.
But like, I used to like, I remember one time specifically, we were at lunch, and I knew I was going back to California the next day, and I was like, I'm not gonna see these guys again. So I sat down, I was like, I got some business to handle, and I was like 12 years old. I was like,
going on a business trip.
I was like, you guys might not hear from me for a minute, but just don't worry about me. I was just gone, dude. Never spoke to those people again. But hey, in their mind, they're going to tell their kids about it, and they'll be like, I knew a secret agent or something because that kid was so sick. Was it the most mysterious child of all time?
Do you have a tape measure in that room, in there?
I don't know how to answer that.
All right, so talking about the Combine, one of the biggest sort of headlines or stories throughout the Combine has been Kenny Pickett's hand size.
The dumbest thing of all time.
Not the fact that he had a great college career. He was a great quarterback. You know, his hand size. That's the big question.
Yeah, exactly.
Because his hands are on the smaller side of things.
Yeah.
8.5 inches, right?
Yeah.
And it's measured, like if you make a shaka, it's measured from tip to tip.
Yeah.
From the pinky to the thumb. I've got a tape measure.
Okay, let's get it, man.
So here, you give me yours. Try to like make it as long as you can. Oh, that's stretching. That pinky's shaking.
Yeah, mine might be crazy.
Okay, so Kenny Pickett does have pretty small hands. Okay.
What was mine?
That's 8.5.
Oh, so he has my sized hands.
Yeah, so
that's interesting.
Okay, measure mine.
What do you, man?
From.
Excuse me, I don't like that. I won't go back in.
Okay, I think this one should be longer. This pinky is still broken, so it's a little. It should be a little longer than that one, so it's cheap.
Okay.
All right. No, you gotta put it to 0. Don't cheat me out of it. Half an inch.
Yeah, you're like. Yeah, 8.2 or something.
No, that's disrespectful. I feel like I give you more grace.
Okay, 8.5 too. So we have.
Oh yeah, either way.
Yeah. So.
Okay, so that actually is. I thought I was gonna measure our hands and they're gonna be like 7.
Yeah.
And I was gonna be like,
well, we have big hands.
I was gonna be like even. Yeah, I was gonna be like even though he's in the NFL, or. I was gonna say like even though his hands are smaller by NFL standards, they're still pretty big. But. Yeah.
Well,
but maybe not.
Yeah, maybe not.
maybe those hands are.
You know what, guys? I'm gonna delete my TikTok. I'm gonna delete everything. I think they were spitting a little bit.
I mean, hey, his hands are small.
Yeah, I mean, Joe Burrow, right? He came out that tweet. He was like, "Guys, I have to retire because the scouts say the ball's gonna drop out of my hands."
I think they said the smallest hands of a starting QB in the NFL right now is Taysom Hill. His hand size is 8.75. So Kenny Pickett would be the smallest in the NFL.
Yeah, okay, so let's go in a little bit. I got some thoughts. my thoughts. Like I talked to DC8 about this. I never know if I should say my dad or DC8.
Did you measure his hands? Has he measured his hands?
I think he had big. I know Derek had like 9.5.
I'm gonna text him and ask him what his hand size is. Keep talking. Hopefully he responds.
He's gonna be so controversial. Hey Dave, how's your hand? But so his thing is like people. Okay, so people are judging him by his hands, and people are also judging him by the fact that he wears gloves, right? Because people are saying gloves on a quarterback. A lot of people hate on it. I'm the opposite. I think gloves on a quarterback look sick, right? And I think every time
I don't think it's a matter of if it looks sick.
Okay.
I don't think they care if it looks sick.
But they're worried about that grip that he would lose, right? Because his hands are smaller. But that's why he wears the gloves, so he has that extra grip. And then people are saying if he goes somewhere in the cold, right, his hand, like the ball's gonna slip out of his gloves and stuff like that. Which I don't know, man. Like, if he can play football, like if fumbling was a problem for him, which it's not, right? He did not have a fumbling problem in college. Then be worried about it.
Well, I think the combine is great, and it's really cool to watch and see all this stuff. I still think, as an NFL scout, I would pay more attention to their
play,
their track record, and actually just watching tape and watching their games.
Exactly, because
he's probably live on the NFL Network right now. He's
because he's in LA right now. But I think the thing is like, I don't even know how to say it, but like. I don't know, man. I just think if he can play football, then he can play football. If it's a problem, if he's had constant fumbling issues in college, then you can be like, okay, then his hands is a problem.
That's the thing is if they're saying like, all right, his hands are too small, that means he won't be able to grip the ball. Then it's like, all right, that could be a valid point. Let's watch the tape. And let's check the stats. Does he historically grip the ball well? And if you find that, he does have more fumbles, he does have grip issues, then it's like, all right, that's valid. But if you check it and you're like, okay, in theory, but he is holding on to the ball.
Yeah, because when I watched his film, when I was breaking down the quarterbacks, it's like he has a very accurate ball and a very strong arm. This isn't like, he's not like fumbling it and it's like ducking over there, right? Like you almost died.
this secret drink is giving that beep. The burps. It's controversial that I covered up the brand, even though it's a generic brand.
Yeah, that's good.
All I'm saying is that it comes from somewhere where you buy wholesale goods.
But yeah, man, I don't really see it as that big of a problem. I get that some teams and some scouts and some GMs could hold that to a higher standard. Like some teams will make a decision based off that, or will sway their decision. To me, I don't think it would weigh that much on how I'm looking at him.
No, and that's why I'm curious, because obviously people in the media and online are talking about it, and it's sort of a joke too. But I mean,
we'll see in April.
We have no idea how much NFL scouts and GMs are like actually considering that.
Yeah,
like that could just be sort of I don't know what goes on inside the room where they're actually like, oh, should we be worried about this? It might just kind of be the media taking it and running with it.
There's always going to be things where it's like the conventional quarterback, this hand size, conventional quarterback is this height, and there'll be guys that just prove him wrong, right? Like Kyler, everyone's worried about how small he is. People are still worried about how small he is, but he's still a great football player. Like there's guys that don't fit the conventional standard for quarterback, and they're still going to do a great job. But we'll see. I guess we'll see in April.
And there's guys that do fit the conventional standard
and don't do a good job. So. Like Baker, he was small. And
okay, now what?
My bad. I should have just attacked some random quarterback. But I guess we'll see in April how far he drops, where he gets picked, see if teams really care that much. Because it's still that he's projected to be first, second round guy. So we'll see.
He'll be first for sure.
Yeah,
he'll be the first quarterback. Still,
I think so.
I don't think his hand size is going to keep.
No, I really hope not. It's either going to be him or Malik, because Malik has a lot or Sam Howell. Because I think Malik
or Sam Howell /
number
1 overall. No other quarterbacks
good.
until the 5th round.
That's good. We go Sam Howell number 1, and then the draft ends. It's like there's no one can ever top this draft pick.
then they go. Jags draft him number 1 overall.
Yeah.
Even though they have T-Law.
And they trade
and then T-Law. They say draft's over and you guys get the Lombardi this year.
Oh, that's good. They just forfeit in this game. We're going to go right in the 2023 draft. It's just going to start completely over.
DC8 just texted. His hand size was 9.75 inches. A whole 1.25 inches.
Bigger than
Kenny Pickett.
So maybe
that feels like a big hand size. That's pretty.
He has some
hands on him.
I'm going like this, like a movie.
9.25, holding on to balls.
Yeah, man, that's what he's doing. Like we just talked about, there's a lot of quarterbacks, a lot of wide receivers in free agency. Also, a lot of corners. Like a lot of teams like the Raiders specifically, a corner, like any one of these big name guys would be good. Like there's J.C. Jackson, Casey Hayward, who we might get back, Stephon Gilmore, Dante Jackson. All these guys are man corners. There's a lot of options in this free agency. It's probably one of like the biggest pools of guys you can get from in terms of like star talent. Mm-hmm. So I think most fans and the team especially is looking more towards the offense side of the ball this year, and putting more money in free agency towards offense. But if we don't land with those big name guys, I'd be very happy like landing a guy like J.C. Jackson.
Yeah, as not just the Raiders, but as any team in the league, what are your thoughts on drafting a rookie corner versus signing a veteran guy that's been in the league a while?
I think with corners specifically, unless it's like a freak raw talent corner in the draft, like Jeff Okudah, people like he got drafted top 15 or whatever, right? And people thought he was gonna be this big name guy, and he had like a off and on season with the Lions, right? So I think it's different. I think for corner especially, I would be more willing to lean on a corner in free agency that I know can play and consistently can play than being like, I really hope this guy's college skills transfer over to the NFL.
It's just also interesting that corner seems to be one of the positions where there's the least, the lifespan of a corner is also seems to be the smallest out of most positions. Yeah. Mm-hmm. I mean, by the time you get up into your early 30s, corners are transferring over to safety.
Yeah, exactly. Corner also feels like that thing to me, like tight ends, where there's like that pool of like these guys are really good, and then it's like these guys are okay, right? It's like I think it's a small pool, just like tight ends. We're like tight ends, like there's three elite tight ends, and then there's like Jalen Ramsey. And
that is like interesting because it seems like you have your like Pro Bowl level cornerbacks, and then after that, a lot of teams where it's not even like who's CB1, who's CB2. Like there's not even necessarily a clear
it's just
best one on the team.
This is just a
there's some teams where there's a very clear
like
CB1
Jalen Ramsey,
and they're
right?
an absolute stud, and then there's other ones where it's like who should really be covering the best guy.
Yeah, and a guy like J.C. Jackson, if Raiders got him, he would be like that clear, this is corner number one. This isn't just like another corner in the lineup. Why did I just blank? I was going to say something else, but I just blanked. But that's why I think, like, just what you're saying. I think there are corners like that where it's like, this is CB1. This isn't just cornerback for the Raiders, right? This is like the corner for the Raiders. I think J.C. Jackson being those guys. I also loved Casey Hayward. He played amazing for us this year. Like, Casey did great. Do you ever get, like, talking about Stephon Gilmore real quick, do you ever get, like, upset watching your favorite team in the NBA or NFL, whatever it is, when you see a trade go through for a star player and it's a lot less than you thought, and you're like, my team couldn't even offer that? Because I've had that for sure, where it's like, you got Stephon Gilmore for a 6th-round pick. We couldn't offer a 5th for that?
Yeah, it is. Well, and that's why I always like to see with any team of any of my sports, the most frustrating thing is when free agency, or not even free agency, but just the offseason happens.
Yeah.
I want to see us at least pursuing guys.
Yeah, I want to see movement.
Because there's sometimes where it's like,
if
your team's not good, if your roster's not hitting, then you need to be trying to fix those spots.
Yeah, exactly.
That's where it sucks, is when you're kind of just stuck being kind of lethargic, not trying to get better. And
like, so if you're a team like that, like let's just say like the Lakers, right, they didn't make a move in free agency. If you're a team like that, right, you don't really make a move.
Excuse me? The Lakers signed a super team in free agency.
Well, I'm saying like the trade deadline, right?
Before the trade deadline.
Yeah, the trade deadline, my bad. That was almost controversial. I got inflamed,
The Lakers signed their entire roster in free agency.
But the trade deadline, right, if you like, nothing really happens and your team doesn't improve, that's a big, like, you're stuck, right? You have to keep waiting. It's like, we're kind of stuck with this roster to the end of the year now. Mm-hmm. Like, once those deadlines pass, which is, if you're a good team and you made the right moves, then you're happy being stuck. If you're a bad team and you regret being complacent in free agency, it's going to be a long...
Or sometimes you're like the Lakers and you try to make moves, but your moves are trash, and so nobody accepts them.
Yeah. When you're demanding the Duffy for players that aren't really showcasing their skills right now.
Yeah, but there were somewhere... Yeah, I don't know.
You might drop some heat.
I think they offered John Wall in exchange for Russ and a first, which would have been a highway robbery if the Lakers accepted. There's no reason the Lakers should have accepted that.
Yeah. But it's now...
Tangent, but John Wall has not played an NBA game in 2 years. And they said he's worth Russ and a first.
Yeah.
He's not.
Yeah, but it's going to be... It was like all that stuff's coming out where it's like, there's no way like Russ can be on the roster after next season. Like the tensions in the locker room are really high and stuff like that. So it's like all this like stuff. I mean, maybe...
Yeah, but I don't know if that's... I don't know.
We don't know if that's legitimate or not. That's
whenever
the media,
whenever a team is struggling, that's always a narrative of what's going on in the locker room.
Yeah, that is true.
So it's hard to say.
That's very true. It's always like, this isn't working. It's like they hate each other in the locker room.
You know, I mean, that was a narrative for a while with when LeBron was with Kyrie and they won chips. So I don't know.
Exactly. All right, the last thing I have to talk about, the real big one that happened today, that just came out today. Calvin Ridley suspended for an entire season for the Falcons for betting on games. Apparently he bet on 3 or 4 games, but it's $1,500 total is what he's saying.
Yeah, that's what he said on Twitter.
Yeah.
Which he's been tweeting a little bit.
Which he's been tweeting. People are like, dude, just go silent. Just don't talk, right? Like, just...
Well, he said...
Just take your lumps.
The most recent one I saw was that he said something about, like... I mean, he basically admitted, like, yeah, you got me.
Yeah.
is basically what happened, because he said, I know I was wrong, but I'm getting 1 year LOL.
Yeah. Like, dang, man.
I mean, I guess he's not fighting it.
This one is, like, really tearing people. Like, there's a big jump. Like, there's a big gap of, like, what should happen to him.
Most of what I've seen a lot of people saying is most people saying that it's too harsh. Or I've seen a lot of people saying that. Saying, like, oh, what's the big problem to bet on your own team or whatever. Which is a problem, by the way.
Yeah, it is a problem, yeah.
I don't think you can be like, oh, you should always be betting on your own team. You're playing on it. You should be trying to win. Like,
yeah, exactly.
No, that's a bad take. You shouldn't be able to bet.
Well, to me, I get where they're like, the year suspension is rough. Because I get the stuff that's like, oh, when you look at like Kareem Hunt and stuff like that, right? Like that had that abuse issue, got 8 games, right? And it's like, this is... But then, as like an outsider looking in, you're like, this is how the NFL prioritizes suspensions. They're like, you do this with like abusive issues, and you get 8 games. You bet on a few games, you get a whole season off. So I get why people are mad about that. Like they wish it was more consistent. But I'm with the guys. I don't think if you're hired by the NFL or you're playing on an NFL team, I don't think you should be allowed to bet on the football games.
No, definitely not. And I mean, honestly, I think 1 year. I know some people are saying that's too harsh. I think 1 year feels about right, to be honest.
I think so too.
Yeah, I mean, I totally get the thing of that punishment being harsher than people that have like literally committed domestic abuse. Yeah. Which is true, and I think that's messed up. But I think also some of that falls on the justice system.
I think so too.
That's another difference is that what Calvin Ridley did went against the league rules. Didn't go against like the actual laws.
Yeah, exactly.
Versus somebody committing domestic abuse, they should be punished by the criminal
justice system. Not they shouldn't have to be punished by the NFL.
Yeah, exactly. Right? I mean, that's like, oh, this guy, if he beats a woman, it shouldn't be like, oh, how many games is he going to get suspended? It should be how long is he in prison for?
It's exactly, and it's like with the Henry Ruggs situation. It's like the NFL didn't have to come out and be like, he's suspended. It's like, no, like he's going to prison. Like the justice system's going to handle
Which
this.
I think that's the difference, because you see somebody that it feels like has a very minor thing for what they did. But, well, I mean, you have somebody like Michael Vick. Like that one, he was dealt justice by the criminal justice system.
Yeah, and then he came back.
And then when he came back, the criminal justice system deemed that he was...
Yeah, like he had served his time
or whatever, and so the NFL let him back in.
Yeah, which I think that's like the way to go. It's like the criminal justice system, no matter how you see like how long the sentences should be or how long they should not be, they've dealt their thing, right? Then they come back and it's okay. But with this is a league issue. The league is saying this is not allowed. Mm-hmm. And it's the same thing as like any crime. You willingly did it knowing the league is not going to like this if they found out.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing is...
He could have had his grandma
because do it. I don't like the idea of comparing it to domestic abuse and all these other crimes because it shouldn't be compared to that because it's not criminal. It's not in the same realm. It's not something that the criminal justice system should have to deal with or would have to deal with.
And his options or what he did not affect someone's life. You know what I'm saying? Like abuse and stuff like that.
Right. But I think that when he did it, and I've seen some people saying like, oh, when the NFL or as sports gambling has become more legal in more and more states, the NFL should be doing a better job of hammering it home to players saying like, just so you know, you guys can't bet on it, which is as if we know how much the NFL has been driving home with players. And also they know that it's illegal.
Know for sure.
He knew when he placed the bets. That
everyone knows. Like,
it's not like oops. Like, no, when you place a bet, you open up whatever it is.
Well, it came out that he did it on his phone. It was on his phone, like his straight up phone.
Put your credit card information into it, scroll through. What kind of parlay am I going to do? The whole time you know what you're doing.
Yeah.
And you know what the punishment is, or at least you know that there is a severe punishment.
Exactly. One of the things I don't really like, though, about like what's happening in the media right now or with like fans in general, I don't really think we should jump on the his year off of football that he took before this was like the mental health break was fake. I don't really think we should jump on that. But I see people doing that like, oh, he was fake. He just wanted time to like gamble and stuff. I don't really think we should. Yeah, stupid. I really don't think we should jump on that.
No, the narrative of Calvin Ridley having a gambling problem, I think, is stupid.
I think it's stupid too.
I don't think he just took a break from football and picked up a gambling habit. I don't think that's it. I think he made a dumb decision.
I think he made a dumb decision, but I don't think it's correlated. Maybe because he had more free time. Maybe it could be correlated. I don't think it's correlated with his mental health break he took.
No, I don't think so. I think he just made a dumb decision that isn't that horrible of a thing or make you that horrible of a person, but it's still against the league rules. You knew it goes against the rules when you did it, so you have to face that punishment.
Exactly. And people are saying, oh, but the NFL has like ties and they have like deals with like these betting sites now. Or I'm like, okay, because they don't care if the fans do it. That's the whole point. Like the fans, they want, because that promotes more money for the NFL. If you allow gambling, stuff like that for the fans, for the players, there's all this risk of like stuff that's happened in like Major League Baseball before, right? With like refs vote, like, or any sport, like rigging games and stuff like that, because they have money in the games. That's where you want to get rid of it. With fans voting, NFL doesn't care if I'm voting, right? If I'm losing money, they don't care. But they would care if a guy who could change the game is in the game.
Well, and I think
he's putting money on it.
Even like talk about whether you're betting on, like Calvin Ridley, for example, betting on Falcons game versus other teams. I don't think you should be voting on betting on any NFL games because I mean those are your boys.
Yeah,
like you know more than fans.
Yeah, but like
regardless of whether you're in that game or your team is in that game.
Yeah, the real heartbreak would be: is he voting against the Falcons the whole time? That's what I really want to know.
Well, you know what the Falcons were against the spread last year? 6-10-1. Not a good team to be betting on. Not a good team to
bet. No. Maybe if he was there, then he could have actually done something. Let's let the boy Noah go on a little rant about the MLB. It's looking like they're not really close to a deal. Because the MLB came out, right, and they said the best offer has been offered, and it didn't work. So what's it looking like now? No season?
Which is stupid wording. The MLB is trying to push a narrative that the players are at fault. They're very particular with how they word things, the strategy which they go about setting deadlines, which are arbitrary and set by the MLB, in a way that forces blame onto the players. And I'm not going to stand for it, all right, guys?
Yeah, man.
I think the Players Association just yesterday they made another offer to the MLB that was slightly closer, but I don't think they've decided on it yet, but I'm sure it won't get accepted.
Is it looking like a season or what?
But I mean, for one, because as of now they've said the first two series of the season are canceled, which is a stupid thing to say because ultimately what they should have done is said like until further notice, like we're not. I mean, saying the first two series of the season are canceled, what it does is it means that 2 weeks from now, when they still don't have an agreement reached,
they have to push it back again.
They can say, all right, and series number 3 and series 4 are canceled, and then push the blame on the players. It's like, oh, we still couldn't get an agreement with the players, so we're going to push that back even further. Yeah. Which is just not how it should be done. I think that MLB is just so mismanaged that it operates. I know a lot of people have said that the way they're doing negotiations is like it's from the 80s or something, that it's just very not modern. It doesn't take into account the platform that players have, how much they can spread what's actually going on and all this stuff. But yeah, it's just a real bummer because it's the fans that are being hurt.
Yeah, exactly.
And I mean, it's not the players are trying to do what they can to protect because ultimately it's about helping out the lesser paid MLB guys. Yeah. It's not like Mike Trout and all these guys that are making a bag.
It's the smaller guys.
Yeah, because there was that stat that since 2015, the revenue of the league has gone up 30%, or at least prior to COVID, and the median player salary has gone down 30%. So it's about how much revenue they're actually getting from the league.
Yeah.
Even though the max players are still getting paid. It's the other guys that aren't.
Yeah, it's the other guys. And that's what you were saying on Twitter, and that guy still thought you were fighting with him for some reason, and you were agreeing with him.
I was trying to agree with somebody, and he was like, well, why are you using the median? Because the median is what we should be using. Yeah. I was on the math team in 8th grade, guys. I know,
guys,
I know medians and averages.
He was Mr. St. John's.
But it's also a big thing of like, I feel like half of baseball fans, well, maybe not half and half, but a lot of baseball fans blame the MLB and Rob Manfred versus the ones that blame the players for the shutouts, saying, because the easy narrative, which I think is the narrative that the MLB is trying to push onto people, is these guys are already making millions. They're just being greedy. It's stupid of them to try to even negotiate.
I think that's
just take your money.
That's what it sounds like.
Which at first glance, if you don't really like pay that much attention, it's like, yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
But I mean, ultimately, it's just that it sucks.
How do you feel about...
Because it's a bad time. It's a horrible time for a lockout to be happening. Yeah. Because the MLB is so mismanaged that it's not acquiring fans at half the rate of the NFL or the NBA. People don't watch baseball.
Yeah.
Not like they watch other sports, or at least not new fans.
Yeah.
People that have watch baseball, but people aren't starting to watch baseball.
That's why I legit saw a stat about that today, that Major League Soccer in the U.S. it just passed the NHL and like growing fan base, and they're close to passing the Major League Baseball, because Major League Baseball isn't growing their fan base like these other leagues are.
Yeah, it's just, I mean, ultimately, it's hard to put the blame on one person, but if I did, actually, it's not that hard. It's not that hard. Rob Manfred is a horrible commissioner.
How do you feel about him?
Horrible
people
commissioner.
were mad because he was just cheesing, like he was having like time of his life at the press conference.
Yeah, that was after they announced it, and he was just smiling on camera.
Yeah,
by the way, we're delaying the season. We're canceling the first 2 games.
Very mad at that.
Smiling, bro. He's done so many. There's been so many times where I'm like, fire him.
But the thing is, like,
or I guess he's technically doesn't get fired, isn't the way it works, but whatever the term is, get rid of him.
But the thing is, like, with Goodell, it's like you can tell Goodell actually cares about the game, and he's trying to better advance it and help out player safety, fan like approval, and stuff like that. It does not seem like that in the MLB.
Okay, yeah, because that's the thing. The major criticism that I've heard about, I mean, there's a lot of criticisms about specific things that Rob Manfred has done, but a lot of it gets traced back to, does he like baseball? Yeah. And you can't tell that he does. This is the man that went on the record. He did call the World Series trophy just a piece of metal. Oh. So doesn't sound like somebody that likes baseball. That's somebody that needs to not have their job anymore.
Yeah, so what would happen? What has to happen for him to get fired? Does like the owners of the teams need to come to like a majority vote to like fire the commissioner?
It's up to the owners.
Yeah, I think it's probably like the NFL where they have to come to like a majority vote to fire the commissioner.
I'm not sure how the specific process is, but MLB owners, every minute that you're not playing baseball, that your club isn't playing baseball, you're not making money.
Yeah, you're losing money. I know there are 2 boys right here who would throw money to be in that stands right now.
That's what I'm saying, bro.
Yeah, like I'm ready to give you my credit card.
It's just so sad because there's so many like guys like Fernando Tatis, Shohei Ohtani. There's like good faces in baseball right now, and it's just not going well. It's not being promoted.
Exactly.
Season's not happening.
And imagine what's happening now to the younger guys of no season, right? Like these guys who are like finally made it up. Now they're like just waiting. Like they're waiting, but it's like their jobs, right, and their like earnings are in the hands of these bigger guys who took the chance to step out and like fight for them.
Yeah, and that's what these...
As a little guy, I'd be like, my league hates me. Like, my owners hate me. Like, they're not trying to help me out. Like, these big guys are trying to save me. Now, instead, the league would rather go to, we're just not going to play.
Well, it's stupid when you're... I mean, yeah, there's the perspective of these guys are being greedy. They're making millions, whatever. Which also, the median income is like 1.2 or something per year. So they're not making millions. I get that's still a lot of money, but it's not, you don't, because when you see like these guys making 20 plus million a year, there's players like that. Most players are not like that.
Yeah, it's sports money. Like 1.2 is not a lot in sports money.
Well, it's just a weird perspective where if you're like one of those players that's only a few years into the league, you're not making that much money relatively. It's weird to think I'm the one. As players, we're the ones bringing revenue to this organization, to this league, and they don't really want to give us money.
Yeah, it's a whole thing right now, dude. It's just a mess. I know, like
All I'm saying is that I'm glad that Rob Manfred and the MLB are not the ones negotiating with Vladimir Putin and Russia.
That's good. Putin also came out that thing about the World Cup a couple days ago, and it terrified me. It was also
I looked it up today.
Is that real? Okay, good. That's
fact check said no. He didn't. He did not threaten to.
Because that would be the.
What was the quote?
The quote that was going on the internet was that because it's true that Russia's been banned from like all the major sports, right? They've been like until this conflict is resolved.
I forget what rules it was FIFA said. I don't know if they outright banned them or they said there was no like.
Oh, they can't play home games, something like that, right? Or something
they can't play home games. They can't. Oh, I don't remember what exactly it was. It might be. I don't know.
But yeah, so the rumor that was going around, or like the thing that was going around today all over Twitter and stuff, which, I mean, now that it's not true, I'm happy because that was the scariest thing I've ever seen.
No,
also,
that was like a Lex Luthor line.
Yeah, no, it was like he's a villain. But like the quote that was going around.
Oh, yeah, FIFA suspended Russia from World Cup, all soccer competitions.
Okay, yeah, so that came out, right? Because like everyone's trying to put these sanctions on Russia, right? Stop this war from going on. FIFA said you can't play in the World Cup. And then the quote that was going around that Putin said was, if Russia doesn't play in the World Cup, there will be no World Cup. Which, like, that's like a legit, I'm going to blow up the moon line. Like, that is wild. It's like, if that was true, that's wild,
it's legit. It also sounds like a little kid that's like, oh, if I can't play, then nobody gets to play. And
yeah,
then grabs
exactly.
the basketball and goes home.
Yeah, and just takes the basketball home.
Or actually, in this case, says, if I can't play basketball, nobody can.
And then nukes the court.
Yeah.
He just says, if I can't play here, no one can play here. And just legit bombs the court.
It's also wild. This is turning into a political episode, but let's get it.
That's good.
That all of that happening weeks after the Olympics ended. Imagine competing against Russia while you're potentially going to war with Russia.
Yeah,
and you're just like doing figure skating next to him.
Yeah, like imagine if like the invasion would have been happening during it. Like that would be wild. But I'm fairly certain Ukraine has a team, probably, right?
Yeah, no, definitely.
Yeah, so like if you're just going up, you're like, dang man, like it's wild, dude.
That was probably strategic that they didn't do it during that time. Yeah.
Well, I mean, like
because, also it being in China, the Olympics were in China, which would make that even sketchier.
Yeah, I mean, like we can stop getting political for a second, but like to me, like this is the first. We've been at war my whole life, right? Like our whole lives. This is the first time where I'm gonna like remember being like, we're about to go. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like if something happens.
Oh, because it's a war starting instead of ongoing.
And I'm just like at an age where like I will actually I'm aware of my surroundings now, and not like a little kid being like, oh man, like just wars going on in different countries. But now it's like this will be the first one where I can like, damn, we have boys, like we have friends now in the military, right? Like we have friends now, so like. Impact me a little more, my friend Jonah could be going out. And
Jonah will sort that out, bro.
Yeah, don't let Jonah put his foot down.
Don't let Jonah
not let Jonah put his foot down. Jonah said if he goes, it's over in a week. You want to talk about last thing out of here?
It's just a seaman, bro.
He's just a seaman. Seaman Matsubias. Are we allowed to say what he is? I don't know.
What? His rank?
Yeah, we allowed to say it probably.
Why? Because you're like doxing him?
That's
Because you're doxing him, or because it's semen?
Like Russia's like, semen Matsubias.
Like,
is he?
They don't understand the joke. They're like, they're like, wait,
he's coming.
This Jonah guy is the one that's gonna take down our country.
We can do propaganda for Jonah.
Oh, that's good.
We can call him. What's his favorite Pokemon? Oh man, what's his Xbox name? Nice. Now we're really doxing him.
Don't dox him. We're gonna start inviting him to parties, bro. Wait, hey, want to play Fortnite? I watched the Harvard Reports podcast.
We're really doxing the man. Yeah, here's his title, his name, his Xbox account, where he's stationed. Let's real quick. Let's wrap it up with something not so political. Duke and Coach K, they lose to UNC. Man, what was going on?
Go Heels.
Yo.
Okay, I want to pull up the box score.
Yeah.
All right, so UNC came in, upset Duke, won by 13 points after being blown out pretty bad by them earlier in the year. And this was Coach K's final home game at Duke.
Yeah.
They ruined his little
his going away party, his farewell tour.
Yeah, but here's how many minutes North Carolina's starting five played. And keep in mind, this is not the NBA. This is NCAA.
Yeah, this
so
is
total
college.
you can play 40 minutes.
This is college
There's two
basketball.
20-minute halves, so 40 minutes half, 40 minutes tops. We got 30 minutes, 40 minutes, 40 minutes, 38 minutes, 38 minutes.
So the starting five
So
for UNC
the starting
played
five,
almost every minute.
the bench played 4, 5, 1, and 4. So the bench did not touch the floor.
No,
basically.
so like the starting five averaged 38 minutes of play.
Yeah, you know how many points the bench scored?
How many?
2. Off of 2 shot attempts from the entire.
Oh, so they're 100% from the field.
How many shot attempts the bench had? 0, 2, 0, 0.
Oh, nice. That's good.
I mean, if you got your
So
guys,
it's 50%
man.
from the field from coming off the bench. That's pretty good. But
I mean, if you like your starting five, just keep those boys in there.
yeah, and you have to think with a stat like that, that's like it's a revenge tour. Like his farewell tour, it was they're like, no, he's not.
No,
going
that's
out.
they were like, I don't care if I can't walk after this game. We're taking down Coach K.
We're gonna beat Duke. Like we're gonna ruin his day. It's so wild to me. The reaction of Coach K was really weird to me too. Like after the game,
like I know he said. It was like this game was a disappointment.
No, he's like,
this
game
has
was
not been a disappointment.
He said this game was unacceptable.
He said this game was unacceptable, and then people started booing, and he's like, no, it is unacceptable.
Yeah.
He said, but this season has been acceptable.
Yeah,
like that.
All right, yeah, that's
That
another
was
Lex
also
Luthor
a
line.
weird thing to say. This season has been acceptable. That sounds so like
no. Now
I don't know.
We're gonna keep a close eye on these next couple games now to see like what's he about to do to these teams.
They're in March Madness, so we'll see. We'll see what happens.
We'll see what happens. That would be a great ending to the story, low-key, if they made it all the way. It's
what
always
it is.
hard, like after stuff like that, like after anything. If you lose, I'm like, I do not want to talk to the guy I just played with.
But here's the thing, because in high school I played tennis, which is like a gentleman's sport, right? So you're I don't know why they call it that. I don't like that. But
Did you go shake their hands stuff before?
yeah, so afterwards, you come up after the last point, you walk up to the net, shake each other's hands. Sometimes we played who was in our league, the teams that were in our league.
Yeah, I got it.
So we won a lot of them. Frank called them bagels. A bagel is when you win 6-0, 6-0. You don't let them win any games.
Yeah.
So I had a few of those. And when
you playing twos? You playing one? Like what are you playing? You with a partner or you by yourself?
Singles or doubles? Both, but singles more often.
Because you're the GOAT. I get it.
Yeah, because I'm the GOAT.
Because you don't need no one else.
But anyways, so after I would get a bagel, it's called, we'd walk up to shake hands, and if they ever wouldn't shake my hands, like, oh no, they wouldn't shake my hand, it's gonna ruin my day. No, I'm cheesing, bro.
Yeah.
If I beat somebody so bad that they won't even shake my hand, that's a great feeling. That's why, like, whenever somebody has poor sportsmanship, it's like that you're only making the other, like, if I was the coach and he doesn't shake my hand, that's like mad. I know I won.
Yeah, I'm like, oh, he's mad. Look how mad he is.
Yeah, or that's like if somebody would smash their tennis racket, I'm like, oops. Like,
hope you have to buy it. Can't wait for you to buy a new one.
Like, oh, you sure showed him.
Your lockout went really well for high school tennis. You did really good, right?
Yeah.
You want to tell a little bit like that? You don't tell who was involved, but. No, wait, now we can't. This all has to be gone.
No, this is all. This is all we cut out anyways.
This is just for you.
This is just me spilling my guts, bro.
Well, thank you for watching episode 27. I just want to say you should check out our TikTok or Twitter. Posting a lot of stuff there, a lot of draft content, prospect content. If you love that stuff, because Joe, check it out right there. No, you got anything else?
Yeah, just make sure to hit subscribe. Tell all your friends, unless you're Vladimir Putin. Then exit out of this video and unsubscribe, because I know you're watching us.
Yeah, get out of here, tough guy.
Get out of here.
Hey.
You don't want beef with Harvester Sports Podcast.
I'm not a pushover.
I won't stand for what you're doing.
I'm going to put my foot down, all right?